Good afternoon. You have landed at the Distill. We just came in not only with a hard entry, but we came in hot. We came flying in.
It's been a busy day.
It's been a busy day.
It's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
I know, but we're so happy to be here. You have joined Distill at a 360-degree view of life and sports. My name is Wendy Rosenthal, and I am joined by the ever lovely, amazing, and wonderful Eira Switzer. Welcome. Hello. How are you?
Oh, thank you for welcoming me.
Welcome.
I'm doing very well.
I know, because I feel like even though we saw each other,
we've been seeing each other. We
a
were
lot.
in New York. It's been very busy.
Very
Landed.
busy.
It's been going nonstop, and now here we are.
But I feel like I haven't seen you in 24 hours.
I
So
know, it's too long for us to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are here every other Thursday to talk about our favorite thing, our passion, our love, which is everything to do with sports. And Eira and I are the co-founders and owners of a fantastic, we think, sports consulting firm.
We know.
Yes.
And we get validation.
We do
often,
all the time.
Often. So others think the same as well.
A company called Distillery Inc., and we work with athletes to help them repurpose their athletic intelligence into a life beyond sports. And that's why we started this vidcast and why we're here passionately talking about things all around sports, not necessarily what's on the field, but we like to go behind the scene. We like to elevate stories that people don't really know about. We like to bring, put a spotlight on those aspects of sports that are not being talked about on all of the amazing sports networks like ESPN and all of that. So welcome. We're excited to be here. We always like to say hello to our favorite engineer. Hello, Ryan.
Thank you. Happy to be here as always.
Ryan rocks. Ryan was in here, set up, ready to go as we came in hot.
It's a team.
You know,
it's a team effort.
You're amazing.
It's a
We're
team
so
effort.
grateful.
Yes.
So grateful to you.
So we're always excited to have our freestyling days where you just get us and we get to talk about whatever the heck we want.
But if you have questions,
comments, I did post something on my personal Facebook page asking a question to my friends, so we can bring that up later. Okay. We had some tear-jerking moments in the last week, and we know that Ryan is very excited about something he's doing tonight, so we're going to cover that.
Yeah.
So, Eira, where would you like to start today?
Tell folks where they can call if they
that's
have
right.
questions.
See, I'm
so
so hot I forgot.
Because we want to know. We want to hear from you.
We want to hear from you. So if you are interested in telling us your thoughts, your opinions, anything that's on your mind, as long as it has to do with sports, no politics or anything like that, please call us at 323-524-2599, or you can comment on our Facebook pages and we will happily respond. Actually, before we get into kind of talking about sports, I do want to say that we had an amazing experience in the last week. In our quest to uncover those stories around sports that aren't making headlines or aren't, the normal stories you would see. We like to kind of put ourselves, Eira more than me most of the time, in the position of finding out what it means to be an athlete.
Yeah.
And we had a very unique opportunity to head down to Newport Beach by invitation of a new, really unique, I think, gym, but more than a gym.
A wellness center.
A wellness center.
Yes.
Called
All for Health. Yeah, All for Health and Wellness.
Right. The lovely proprietor invited us down, and we had a really interesting experience. And why we want to talk about, we'll show you some pictures in a minute, was the concept is that it's kind of a one-stop shop. You can go there, work out, you can have trainers, you can take classes, you can do yoga, but also you can do all the things around that help you be a better athlete. And in the next few shows, we're actually inviting some of the people that we met on, because we were blown away by some of the information that we got and some of the experiences we had.
Right.
So I didn't choose to send this picture to Ryan because I thought you might hurt me if I did. The first thing that we did when we walked in was we got to try the cryotherapy.
Which is really cool.
Oh, really?
We did.
Yes, we did.
Cool.
Have you ever done that?
No, but I've really wanted to.
It is really cool.
What's really...
Aha, I see what you did there.
Pun intended.
Look at you. What was really cool about this place, everything's amazing about it, but we realized how misinformed we walk around because we learned tons about cryotherapy and how to really use it to your advantage.
Yep.
But we also learned a lot about BMI,
Yes.
its uses, and how misinformed we are, even using that as some sort of a predictor, an indicator as to how well you're doing, how healthy you are, how in shape you are. So these people there
Body mass index. For
exactly.
people at home.
people there are phenomenal. So well informed, so well trained, so experienced, and they can break it down. So really what I want to stress about this place is that though the proprietor is Steve King, former basketball player.
Yep.
His son is Taylor King, also a former basketball player, college and professional. They opened up this place that is for everyone. It's not just it's not just the former pros, amateurs. It's the everyday, as we like to call it, the domestic athlete.
Right.
So you really can walk into this place and work alongside or with former pros, current pros, amateurs, but more importantly, the everyday person like Wendy and me.
Where's it located at?
Newport Beach.
Newport Beach.
So we realize if you're in the proper LA area, it's a bit of a schlep.
Yeah.
It did take us a good hour and
At
15
least
minutes
to
each
get
way.
there.
But it's worth it. But if you're in the Newport Beach area, we highly recommend this place, all for health and wellness.
Right. And the reason we wanted to talk about it was not just to do a promo, but more to say, like, the experience I had, I was terrified of going in that cryotherapy thing. I was terrified because, literally they're like, well, it's 100 degrees below zero.
Yeah.
And you can only stay there, like, if you can make it to 3 minutes, you're doing really well.
3 minutes is
But some people will do a minute, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
So do what you
work
can.
your way up. Yeah.
But before
No,
you
we didn't.
realized,
Oh, okay.
No, the two of us
Well
were
done.
like,
before
Nicely
you
done.
realize the 3 minutes have gone by, and you don't get how exhilarating the
it
feeling
really is.
Yeah.
It
You
was
know
awesome.
what's happening in your body? It's phenomenal.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of science behind just temperature change and how that can affect us and like extreme. Some people go from the intense saunas
Right.
into the cryo.
Exactly.
And then they go from extreme heat to extreme cold, and it apparently is really amazing for inflammation and
Exactly.
all these different kinds of.
Right.
Well,
Cool.
and,
It's really cool.
and it's really funny because you get in it, and the vision I had of it was completely different. Your head is sticking out, so you don't feel like you're in
Completely.
I thought I was going to be in a tube or something.
Right.
And you can move around, right? So,
Which we did. We jumped
we
around
were
for 3 minutes,
dancing.
we're talking,
so, like,
hanging out.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, 3 minutes were gone. And I
Yeah.
actually found it to be, again, like you said, a very exhilarating. And I felt great afterwards. And then we did a workout, and my level of pain the next 2 days was dramatically less than I knew. I thought I was going to be
Yep.
like not able to get out of bed.
Right.
Because I did things I've never done before.
Right.
By the way, I found out that I love boxing and I like to hit people.
rocked.
Okay.
She got
Yes.
to do a boxing workout. You should have
So-
seen
oh,
her,
wait,
Ryan.
wait.
This is a whole new woman.
You can show there
There
you
she
go.
is. There's Rocky. Look at her. Look at her. She was loving this. She was
I
loving this. It's so
loved
cool.
it.
And I want you to know I've been trying to get her to do this for ages.
I know.
Slow mo is a nice touch.
Yeah, exactly. but now she's hooked.
I was really surprised.
Yeah.
I have to say, again, this is the joy of sports, is that there's so many different things and avenues that you can try. And Eira has been boxing for so long, and it's always
didn't know that.
intimidated me. Oh my God,
I had no idea.
You should have seen. I wish there was a picture of her boxing and of me boxing. You would have laughed.
Shoulder rolls and everything.
Oh my God.
I've been boxing now for about 14 years. I train at a Wild Card in Hollywood.
I had no idea.
Yes, I do.
Wow,
Thank you
very
very much.
cool.
I have an amazing trainer, Pepe Riley, former Olympian. He trains a number of different pros and amateurs, and he's fabulous to me. He has broken down technique and trained me like I cannot imagine. Really, probably putting into words, but he's awesome. So shout out to Pepe Riley.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
And I might not be as intimidated to go try there. Maybe.
Yeah.
We have a question.
Oh, yes.
Angel is asking, how would it be for someone with COPD? So from what it's so interesting that you're asking that question, because I asked also for my husband, because I think he would benefit from the cryotherapy
Right.
in a huge way. And he has AFib. So I asked a question kind of similar to
Sure.
that. And they said, you just need to check with your doctor, because it really is an individual thing. Some people can handle it. Some people can handle a minute. It's like they were saying to us that it is very recommended, even for
Exactly.
somebody like my husband who has that. It would help him. But it's really, in that case, they would ask you before you go in. Like, we had to sign waivers, and they asked us medical questions. Do you have anything
Right.
going on? And you da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But Angel, you have to figure it out by
Talk
going
to
to
your
your
doctor.
doctor.
Exactly.
But we couldn't.
And from what they said, it could help you. It's on the
Exactly.
by person basis.
Exactly.
So it's not a blank statement across the board. It's okay for everyone, but definitely even with those issues, this could benefit you, but you must have, clearance from your doctor.
Right. And again, there's different ways of doing it and different temperatures. They don't have to go down to the 100-degree below. They were saying that there's different stages and there's lots, but it was amazing.
Yeah, so cool.
I want to go back to boxing though, because I want to encourage people. Like, I was very intimidated by the thought of getting gloves on in a ring and punching somebody.
Yeah.
And what I found is it was such a fun workout. Like, it really worked all parts of my body. And I literally did a sequence of 2 jabs, a punch. What do you call that? A punch?
As opposed to the jab, which is not a punch.
No. Well, I don't. What is that?
Cross.
Thank you.
You're so cute.
What do you want? This is my first time. So I did 2 jabs, a cross, a jab, a slide.
Yeah, she actually had combinations.
I had combinations going.
Awesome, yeah.
And I did it really fast.
And a testament to Will, who's former MMA
he
fighter.
was awesome.
And he's not just awesome, but a really, really lovely, gentle soul.
You can now show the picture of us with
contradictory. So contradictory for, there he is. Former MMA fighter, former football player, battled a variety of injuries that just knocked him out of, competing professionally. But he now teaches people like us, how to do this kind of thing. And he's so gentle and so patient and just a genuinely kind soul.
Yeah.
You want to be in the ring with someone like that if you've never done this.
Please excuse how I look. I was sweating and looked disgusting.
You look awesome. You look like you've just been...
My butt kicked.
So were you hitting the bag or were you doing pad work?
She was doing pad work.
And with him.
And we did do some bag work.
Nice.
Yeah, I did the bag. He taught, just even trying to figure out how to slide and step, and how to keep your hands up. Like, he kept saying, put your hands up because you're not protecting yourself. I'm like, oh, because I didn't even realize my hands were down.
I'm fighting.
Yeah.
But having said that, within 15 minutes, I was doing something, and I was surprised at how much it was working every part of me out, even in that little bit of time. And I was getting my cardio was up quite a bit, and I wasn't moving that much.
Yeah.
It was short moves.
And I don't think people realize how much you're thinking.
Yeah,
when you're boxing, but you're thinking, which is a different level. Exactly.
Like
so it's a whole different level, layer to your workout, because it's not just sort of, doing what your spin instructor is saying to do, and you're watching. You're like, okay, just follow along, copy exactly what they're doing. You're thinking, which is really an amazing, extra layer of effort.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So he was awesome.
He was awesome.
They have Dr. Sadiq.
Right, before you get there, so you're jumping ahead to all the good stuff. I got to tell the funny stuff. So then there's this thing, right? Here's the other thing. They have like it looks like a football field with hash marks. And those things that football players like, the things.
Video of it.
I know. I wish I did too. The things where the pads and the coach stands on it, and the football players like go into it, and then they push it.
Yeah, like the sled thing.
Thank you, the sled thing. So Will puts Eira on it, and I'm watching her push, and I'm looking down, and there's on each side there's an 85-pound weight, and Eira is awesome. She is like. She's pushing, she's going up and down, and he looks at me and goes, okay, you're going to do that now. And I went, are you out of your mind? He goes, no, you're not going to have weights on it. Now,
but she did do it.
I did do it.
She did, and it was awesome.
It was awesome. I really enjoyed doing it too, by the way. But having said that, I had no weights on it, and it was almost impossible for me to push. I'm like sitting there looking at Eira going, you've got 2 85-pound, not one on each side, right? And I'm like, barely getting across with nothing. And he comes over, he goes, you want me to stand? And I'm like, no. I have such a better appreciation now for football players that are with their
the whole team
with
on
the
it.
whole team on it, and they're pushing. It's like, So
it's
there was
amazing.
that. So and then there's 2 videos we sent you. Please show Eira's first. Eira's first. Because then they have this medicine ball thing, right? And they say, here's a wall. Go throw the medicine ball at the wall. So Eira does it, of course, before me. And here's Eira doing it. Like, totally coordinated, throwing it, like, absolutely perfectly. A ball that's 500 pounds or something like that.
It is not. It was not, for the record. Nowhere near.
And then there's me.
You were doing a great job. We're like, hot potato.
I'm like, oh my god. And I had like the lightest ball. I think it was like 8 pounds, maybe.
It was a tennis ball.
It was a tennis ball, basically.
No, she was awesome. She did such a great job.
I had so much fun. And at that point, literally, Will looks at me. You can see he's talking to me, right? At that point, he looks at me and goes, Wendy, I feel this. Your soul loves working out. I'm like, you're actually right.
Really
I
does.
do.
Yeah, and you say that all the time.
I know. I gotta get my gym membership. We gotta sort it out.
Right.
You gotta just make me sort it out.
I need to just show up one morning and drag her out of bed by the hair and just, we're going
Not
boxing.
that I'm asleep. I'm not staying in bed. I don't sleep till 9.
I didn't say I was coming at 9. I'll come at 5 in the morning,
There
drag
you
you out, catch you off guard.
Okay, now you can talk. Anyway, we're going on and on about it. But you know what? It's such a testament to how anybody can go and do any of this. And it's so much fun and important.
Exactly. So
say one more thing and then we'll move.
Well,
two.
And they have, 2 more things. They have Dr. Sadek there, who is the chiropractor for the LA Chargers. Amazing. They have this machine that they put you on, and they analyze you head to toe. One body, is that what it's called?
Yes.
I believe it's a one body technique. And they analyze everything about you, your hydration levels, everything that's going on internally that we have no idea, is important. But more importantly, they completely dispel the entire myth around BMI.
Yep.
And he explained everything about how to analyze your body, your effort, and see what's changing.
By the way,
what's
Eira
going
was
on.
Perfect.
I'd like for you to know that we did receive scientific confirmation of my
she
projection.
did. She did.
She's
an eye.
I'm an I.
She's an I.
I'm
Wholly
balanced.
balanced.
It's what we discussed. It's really more just that I'm balanced.
Stay humble.
Yes, exactly. I wouldn't have said it, but since when you brought it up.
How could I not? I mean, literally, the guy is taking us through our results. Now, I know, first of all, she works so hard to be that. So I'm not saying it like in any negative way at all, because I know what I watch what she does. I'm in the gym with her, and I'm like I said, 2 85-pound weights mean nothing. So appreciate that. But it's like he was going through it, and he's like, well, yeah, well, that's perfect. That's balanced. That's balanced. You don't need to do anything there. You don't need to do anything here. You're this. Nope, there's nothing there you need to do. And he's looking for something to tell her to change, right? No, everything, your proportions, perfect.
That's not something to work on.
The arms.
No, it is, because it's the muscle tone, the muscle
muscle
definition, like
proportion.
18% on this side, 18% on this side, like really
one
your
arm's
core,
longer than the
this,
other one.
exactly. Well, it's the muscle
mass.
The muscle mass, like you're exactly
your
just
skeletal, everything's
balanced.
It's like
we joke that we have scientific confirmation of my perfection, but really it just meant that I'm balanced. I appreciate that. Or Wendy's
perfect.
close.
Or perfect.
I was better than I thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to be awful. I thought I was going to be off the charts awful, and I was not. So I was very encouraged by that. And actually, what he said is really all you need. Where I'm more off is I need to build up muscle mass.
Yeah.
That's my issue.
Which we talk about all the time, because I think it's so important for women to understand.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone, but women in particular, we're so fearful of developing muscle mass, of lifting weights, of doing strength training. It really is crucial, especially as we get older.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's what I say, because for me, being a runner, I wasn't out of balance.
Yeah.
I was thankfully, like, I was balanced as well, like no one side more than the other,
Right.
but you could definitely see
Yeah.
my muscle mass is down, because that's not what I do. That's
Sure.
not, that's not where I spend my time. I like to do
Yeah.
cardio. So
Sure.
it was very interesting.
The only other last thing that I do have to address, because she's phenomenal,
She's
and she was the
unbelievable.
reason that we got introduced to this place. One of the many gifts of the show, aside from being able to talk about all the different aspects of sports that we enjoy, is that we are fortunate enough to meet people who are incredible and want to invite us into their world, whether it's visiting their gym or trying some of their modalities, or introducing us to someone who might be a great guest on our show and has a different aspect in sports to tackle. Adrienne Spear, and she tackles so many different modalities, so I'm not even going to throw out exactly what she did on us, because I know she did different things to us.
Well,
but she helps balance your body. Yeah, but she actually is trained in a variety of different techniques. So, but she helps your body basically retrain itself, realign itself, and it's a whole mind-body connection. So it's physical use, it's muscle manipulation, it's all sorts of things. So just also a shout out to Adrienne Spear, because after we did this awesome workout with Will, we had the benefit of sitting with Dr. Sadek, who read through all of our results. But then she did some physical manipulation on our on our joints.
She barely touched me. And I got off her table, and I don't think I've stood up straight in 10 years. Literally,
Jeez.
able to stand up and have my...
It's exactly what she said.
You
She
don't
walked into the
realize,
office where I was at.
Don't
She said,
even realize.
Eira, for the first time in decades, I am standing straight.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And she barely touched me.
She's phenomenal.
It was unbelievable.
So Adrienne, Will, Dr. Sadik, Steve King, all these amazing people at All for Health and Wellness in Newport Beach. If any of you are in the area or you're visiting in town and have the interest in the time, by all means,
and we're going to have some of them on the show because what they do and their stories are very interesting.
Exactly. So. But aside from that,
okay,
what made you cry? We left for New York on Sunday,
God.
and you were bawling.
I was bawling.
Yeah.
All Sunday morning. What do you think it was that made me cry?
And we talked about it lots and lots.
Yeah, we did.
What do I think?
Yeah.
Well,
on Sunday.
Clearly you weren't watching.
Clearly you were not.
Oh, Tiger?
Yes.
Well,
did you cry?
It made the whole world cry.
Did you cry?
I actually didn't get to watch. I just saw the highlights.
Okay, first of all, I want to say something. Let's take it back a step.
Yeah.
The Masters is by far one of the most amazing sport events across the board. Forget golf if you like golf, don't like golf. Across the board, it is one of the most incredible events ever.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun to watch. And it's such a beautiful course. And it challenges people in such, in a way that is unique to its heritage, to its, the whole package of what you get at the Masters. Again, if you don't like golf, fine, but watch the Masters because it is the pinnacle, in my opinion, of that and the Open, the British Open. But
there's something special about Augusta.
There's just something. The whole thing is just special. And we're very blessed that our lives are very. I don't want to say busy. We're very productive people. And we have lots going on, and so we didn't get to watch any of it up until we're keeping track, right? Like my husband's texting me, Tiger's there, we're watching. And then Sunday happens. And when Sunday starts off, Tiger is behind the leader, Francesco Molinari, who won the British Open. He's an amazing golfer from Italy. And they're together on the last tee with a guy named Tony Finau, who's also kind of an up-and-comer American Samoan. Yeah. Really, a nice golfer. It's fun to watch him. He's big, so he hits far, whatever. So they're in the last group, and they've got various people in front of them. And the interesting bit is that Francesco and Tiger were 3 strokes ahead of everybody on the field, and they got to the 12th hole, and Molinari just imploded. He hit it into the water, and it caused a double bogey. Yeah. And from that moment on, it was like the ripple effect of that went through the rest of the field. Yep. Because then all of a sudden, all these different players are starting to make incredible shots. Exactly. They're getting eagles.
The hole in one.
Well, there was a hole in one who took a guy from -7 or -8 to -10. So put him. They were all hovering around 10, 11, 12, kind of that -10, 11, 12.
I always love seeing those moments because it's such a moment of transition.
Oh.
And it's interesting to see who's going to capitalize on that and who isn't.
Exactly.
And it's so connected, I think, to the mindset because you can 100%. See that and say, wow, the ball's in the water now. And, doors wide open. And so what am I going to do next? And you got to just keep playing your game.
Well, and so for Molinari, too, he had to keep playing his game.
Absolutely.
You were going to say something, Ryan?
Oh, I was just going to say that's what makes golf so awesome, in my opinion. It's just such a mental mental warfare. And once you chip in a birdie and then you're like, okay, well, now I have to do something a little extra and I have to take a shortcut over this. I just love it. I love it.
It's incredible. So true. So the ripple effect of this is now going, and now there's a guy who nobody's barely heard of. He all of a sudden has gone into the lead. Tiger drops a ball.
Oh, he hit in the water.
No, he didn't hit in the water, but he had trouble on one hole. It was going back and forth, but and then Brooks Koepka, he all of a sudden is now up there as well, right? So the last couple, he's ahead of them, and he goes into the last hole, and if he birdies, and it should have been an easy birdie, right? Because he was maybe less than 8 feet from the pin, maybe between 5 and 8 feet, I don't know. Then Tiger has to par it in order to win. Okay, he misses this shot. I don't know how he missed the shot. Yeah. He's the last guy on the hole. He's watched everybody put it in.
Sure.
It's that. I mean, it's that far away, and he misses the shot. So now Tiger's coming into it. He now has the cushion of 3, so he can actually bogey the hole, right? Which was a good thing because he literally hit a good but off the fairway tee shot, right? So now he has to come back and make up. He hits his second shot very short. Yeah. Not a great shot. And it was just one of those things where it was like, Tiger, don't go there. Don't get yourself into a position where you bogey, because if you bogey, you're going to have to go to a playoff, and you don't want to go to a playoff. And it was, you could feel what had to be going on in his head.
Right. You see those wheels turning.
Where he had to get to know that he needed a par, to get himself out of trouble. And I was sitting staring at the television going, everybody wants you to win. Forget everything you've done. You've done a lot of crappy things. Yeah. You haven't always been a great person. But I guarantee you the world is watching and everybody wants you to win this.
Right.
And when he did, I'm telling you, I was in tears for those 2 holes anyway, right? But when he did, it was like, I was very surprised at my emotion.
Sure. I think lots of people were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It was powerful. And I think I said to you when we got on the plane, it was powerful because, and this is why we do this show and this is why we love sports. Yeah. It is such a metaphor for life. Yeah. Here's a man who played out his struggles in front of 1 billion people.
Right.
He almost lost all of his sponsors. For some reason, good for them, Nike stuck with him. Yeah. And look at how that's paying off. Right. Right? Yeah. He's had to do this in the public eye. He's been on drugs. He's had 3 or 4 surgeries. He's been in pain. His marriage blew up. He's had to admit that he blew his marriage up.
And we acknowledge that because what's interesting also,
windshield up.
Well, it's interesting, I think, talking about the emotion of it, I think also seeing how many people were conflicted about how they felt about this, because they both wanted him to win, because on a purely, on a pure sports level, what an incredible comeback and journey all these years. Yeah. But of course, balance that against just the downfall of his marriage and all of his personal life choices. But you have to be able to look at this just from the sports angle alone. This is an incredible
I'll get there.
Achievement,
I'll get there.
I mean, but it was watching those people, I think, who were so conflicted, how interesting it is to be able to, and we talk about this all the time, being able to separate the person from the art, the person from the sport. You know what I mean? Like, it's personal choices, yes, and yet at the same time, you're able to do this.
Exactly.
There's something really special about a redemption story, too.
Absolutely. And we all connect to it. We love
that
about sports.
We all connect to it because that's what I was going to say, is that, like, you can say anything negative you want about the man, but all of us are the man in one part of our lives or another. And I think the reason I was crying is because, it's so hard to fight back from anything that we do. It could be small. It doesn't have to be an implosion of your whole world like it was with Tiger. It can be something small, and to fight back. And it took him 11 years to fight back. And he didn't stop. And he had a passion. And he wanted to do it.
And he was just working every day. Yeah. Just never stopping. Just pushing forward. Just,
through pain. Through pain. Physical pain. Through, I'm sure, emotional pain. Sure. Through the embarrassment. He's had another couple of big public breakups with other athletes. And it so hit me that that's me. And I hope that when, not that I'm airing my own dirty laundry, but when I make mistakes, that I recognize that I can get past them. And for me, he is an example of that. Right. And a shining example of that. And I actually felt he deserved to win for more than just his athleticism. Right. And now we can talk about how hard it is to win. By the way, he was, I think, him and Ben Crenshaw, the oldest people to ever win a Masters at 43, which sounds very young. Right. But especially when you're over 43, like me.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Yeah. That he did it at 43, and people believe he could win another one. Like, they're still talking about him being able to maybe win his 6th. Right, exactly. He surpassed Arnold Palmer for the number of Masters wins with 5. it was a stunning. I called. Sorry, I'm going to go on for one more minute and then I'm going to stop. But
you're allowed to go on as long as you'd like.
Thank you,
because I know it meant a lot.
Yeah, I called. I called my son in, who didn't want to come in, and I said, "You are going to come in here and watch this." And he's like, "Why are you making me watch this? I want to play Minecraft." Yeah. And I'm like, "Because this is history. There's going to be a day when you're older that you're going to be watching some kind of sports retrospective, and they're going to say the moment that Tiger won this Masters."
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to tell your kids, "I watched that live. Sure. I watched it as it was happening, and I wanted him to have that, because it was that big, in my view."
And then there's all these other like side storylines where there's the last time he won the Masters, he walked off with his green jacket and hugged his dad.
And then that was the first time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then this time, after his dad's passed, he went up and hugged his son. Yeah, and it was just like another why I gotta do that?
That's life.
Total
That's
life past.
You know,
just and his mother, who was there for both.
Yeah, very cool.
So a big
congratulations, to Tiger Woods.
I am very excited for him.
Yeah, and anyone else pushing through those types of challenges and doing their own thing along their journey, which is not easy.
And it's a reminder to give people second chances.
Absolutely.
We all deserve them.
And that there's constant redemption. Sometimes it's not the second chance that counts, but the 1 millionth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. How do we go on from there?
Right. Thank you, Ryan. Have I made you cry?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm tearing up over here.
Ryan, what are you doing tonight?
I'm actually going to an esports event tonight.
Where is this taking place?
It's in Burbank. It's actually right on Olive, right here. It's what is it, the Burbank Studios?
Yeah.
Right over here. Blizzard, the company that makes the game, rents out this whole facility. It's called the Blizzard Arena.
Yeah.
And it's
doing Overwatch?
Yeah, Overwatch, which is I'm wearing all my gear right now. I'm wearing a jersey. But yeah, I'm going. It's just they do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday every week for 3 or 4 months. Yeah. And it's like a season. They do. They divide their season into quarters. So they do, it's like quarters, they call it stages. So the first quarter is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3.
Yeah.
And then they'll do playoffs for each of the stages and then a grand playoffs.
Right.
And then we talked about this once, but they did the grand playoffs at Madison Square Garden and they actually sold it out.
Which are massive.
Yeah. No, that's where Rick Fox, Rick Fox was at that game, at that match.
Yeah.
And that's why he ended up buying the team that he did, because I think it was a famous comment that he made about how the energy was more exciting for that match than when he was playing on the floor of Madison Square Garden for the Lakers in a playoff game in the NBA. Yeah. He said it was completely exceeded everything, which is fascinating.
It gets very exciting, especially if I play the game, so I kind of know the nuance of everything, but it's very like watching sports, but it's like being in a movie theater. It's very bizarre.
We've been fascinated about this for a long time, because it really is. It's there are entire aspects around this that are comparable to what we consider traditional sports. And now you can go to certain colleges that have an actual esports.
My school has a team, and we're giving out scholarships and everything.
Is that right?
Yeah,
exactly. You can get scholarships.
Full Sail University out in Orlando.
They've got entire facilities like they do for sports. They you can go on scholarship. You've got nutritionists. You've got everything that you need to be able to do what you do.
And not only that,
you're having physical responses as if you were on the field, as if you were on the court.
They have huge contracts too.
Yeah.
These people are making a lot of money.
Like
the biggest contract at the Overwatch League is $150,000 a year.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It's a massive industry.
So, athletes or not athletes?
We talked about this ages ago. We did a show about this.
I'm going to say again. I'm going to ask again. Anybody's, we still have to explore it more. I mean,
we do. And we welcome you to explore this with us and give us your thoughts and opinions.
Yeah,
I don't even know where I stand on this, to be totally honest. I think they should be respected as such, but to be saying that I don't know. It's very bizarre, because I watch football, I watch Overwatch League. I've played it. I've done that. I've been on the little teams, and I know that these people on TV are something I could never attain. Right. And so it's the same with Overwatch League. It's I could never I play video games, but I'm never gonna be that. That's something, hand-eye coordination and teamwork and like they practice every day, so they have communication and it's all these different things.
So, sounds like a sports team to me.
It sounds like well, and I had someone a while ago sort of compare it to what they could compare it most closely to was race car drivers.
Yeah,
because you're not out running,
but you're not out.
You're not out jumping. You're not out, but you're sitting for extended periods of time. And it's at hand-eye coordination. It's being able to take in all these different stimuli and then respond to it.
Yeah.
So that's what they could, most likely compare it to in terms of a sport, race car driving. Because they're athletes.
Race car drivers are in seriously good condition.
Absolutely.
I mean, they have to be. They couldn't do it otherwise.
Right.
Just because of the G's you pull being in a race car.
Right.
Period.
Exactly.
So serious. Yeah. No, it's very interesting. You're right. Because actually, besides the skill of driving a car at high speeds, the wheel of a race car, especially like Formula One, is like a computer game.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is insane how much electronic technology is on that steering wheel, and you have to be very clever with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing that is going to be huge is what Overwatch League is doing is kind of new for esports, and they have teams are represented by cities. So like it's like my team, the Denver Broncos or the LA Chargers or the LA Rams.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, so I have a couple things right here. It's just, they have like official like sports owners that own some of these teams.
That's like Rick Fox.
Yeah, Rick Fox,
he owns the team.
Yeah, and it's just like another venture. And
yeah, exactly.
And so they're, with that kind of scale, I think it is going to be a game changer for a lot of people.
I actually talked to an organization whose name is forgetting me has left me right now, but they are a company that invests in people who want to franchise and own a league, a team. So it's like they have select people that will go in and say, okay, I'm going to buy this, and they'll help fund that team. Yeah. And it sits under a whole group name. It's very interesting.
Right.
Yeah. And then like these things are also being broadcast on like Disney.
Yeah.
Like on the Disney Channel and on Twitch and all these different sites, and it's very
Listen,
impressive.
I believe that it's still in its infancy, even though it's a $1 billion plus, I'm sure, industry at this point.
Yeah.
We're in season 2 of Overwatch League right now.
Yeah, we haven't even scratched the surface of what it's going to be and how it's going to look, and I know it's going to change. And once you start adding, right now there's only 5 serious games that people are really playing in the esports realm that are for serious.
Yeah, like 5. Yeah.
If maybe that. And so as more games are developed, and I think you're gonna see leagues that are for games that aren't necessarily shooter games.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a lot more probably like chess. Not chess, but logic games and things like that, where it's still team play. It's gonna be very
League of
interesting.
Legends. That's the one.
League of Legends.
It's the biggest esport, and it's not really like a shooter. It's more of a strategy.
Yeah, but I think you're going to see more of those. I think the League of Legends is huge.
Yeah, I think it's built for esports. I think it's perfect for it.
Sure.
Exactly. It's a great spectator sport. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh.
So will we be hanging out some of these?
I think so. Well, you won't like it. I'd do
but
it.
I'm fascinated by it.
I was in the game industry for a while, so I would love to watch it.
So you'll sit there and play?
I would play, but I would never be as I'm not. I agree with Ryan. I'm not somebody who's gonna. I wouldn't put the time in.
Yeah,
because I love playing the games, but I don't.
Well,
I got plenty of other things I got to do.
Right, we're busy enough.
By the way, my son is saying hello, so I must say hi, David. I love you, and also Ryan, because we can do this. It's our show. Our on the screen it says every other Tuesday at 3, and we're every other Thursday at 1.
Oh,
Is that changed? Okay.
Oh, yes.
I'm embarrassing you.
It's 1 o'clock now.
Well, it's only because my husband pointed it out, so I want to make sure.
I'll be fixing that.
We're here at 1 o'clock, folks.
1 o'clock on Thursdays, every other Thursday. Anyhow, so I mean, I would like to actually go to an event like Ryan's going to tonight, because I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll be equally exhilarating. And I'm sure it's I would probably prefer the League of Legends to Overwatch or to some of the others. I'm not in. So yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever your spice is.
Whatever
which is
spice
kinda,
is,
yeah, it's kind of nice.
Well,
that
and we're
way.
putting out to our audience, for those of you who are interested in esports and have whatever angle you want to discuss.
No, we're totally into it.
And I'm super big, and I'm always here. So
exactly,
just
reach
talk
out to us, and come on and let's
got
talk.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I do want to say, very interesting. I don't know if you read this because we didn't have a chance to talk about it.
Yeah.
What is it? The the FFA football system, the AAF closed.
Yep.
Oh, did it?
Yep. It's over.
It's over.
Well, that was short-lived.
That was 3 games and done.
That
Fascinating
was
to me.
short-lived?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know?
I don't know all the details. It just, I suspect that the ratings that they thought they were going to get probably did not.
There.
Well, and I think they weren't there because they didn't promote it.
I didn't even know
it was coming on until it was there. Yep. It was like, oh.
So they aired like the day after the Super Bowl or something. It was like right after football season was over. It's like, we need a little bit of time to like want football back. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really understand that.
Yeah, it was very. I don't know if they just mismanaged their money. They ran out of money.
Yeah,
they're not even going to finish the season. Like,
no. Can you imagine all those players and all that?
That is just a painful situation to be in.
It is.
Thinking about all of those players, and their families who are invested in that, doing well. That's just.
And I'd be curious to find out what I haven't read enough about it, but I'd be curious to see like why they think it happened that way. And I think the fact that, so it was very interesting because I was talking to a couple of people about whether they liked watching it or not. And they said, some of the rules changes were good. It was fun to watch in that respect. But I think, again, because it wasn't clear what it was. It wasn't clear that it wasn't the same, that the game rules were different and you'd have to figure it out. My guess is if they approached it more like a minor league, to football where all the rules are the same and it's just like a feeder into, into the NFL, it might have done better, but you had to kind of learn to watch a whole new game.
That's interesting.
That's just my opinion about it. I just don't think people were ready for it.
The very first highlight I saw was like a brutal like sack from this. I found the picture, but it was just like the very first thing I ever saw from the AAF was a monster hit that was like maybe a little overboard, and it wasn't fine. It was totally legal, and so. People were like, maybe that's a little much.
Yeah, I just don't think they. I don't think they marketed it well. I don't think they explained what it was well enough. I don't think they launched it at the right time. I see why they launched it after the Super Bowl because that's when there's that. If you're super, well, if you're a super football fan, like
you want more.
I want more. Like it always makes me sad when the season's ending. So I kind of understood that they wanted to roll it into that, which makes a bit of sense. But again. There was no entree into it. Yeah. There was no like launch day.
I didn't hear one word about it.
You just had to happen upon it. And so I just think they didn't get the ratings. I'm sure that the networks were like, guys, this isn't here.
Yeah, it's not working.
I'm sad because I think football needs something like this. And we have a friend that that league hasn't started. The other one that's the former players.
Yeah, right.
Again, whose name's escaping me. I'm sorry, I've got lots on my mind today, but there might be something else, but I just feel like it was quick and sad,
right?
And I feel bad for the people who like counted on the fact that they were going to be playing football for a while. So there was that, and then I also wanted to because we only have, can you believe it? We only have 5 minutes.
The time flies. It's ridiculous.
You got to say something a little bit about the NBA playoffs. Or not?
Well, no, it's fine. But I do want to. Speaking of the NBA, I just want to say I'm excited for Zion Williamson.
Oh, I know,
but
I wish he wouldn't.
Boy, would I have loved to have seen him
play one more year in college.
Least.
But that's how I felt about Sam Darnold at USC.
I know. We discussed that. I remember. Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
So happy for you. Wishing you. And I get it. We have this conversation with former players all the time.
Yeah.
If you've got the choice. And you can go out and secure a contract now and make good money now rather than risking injury.
Yeah,
and
can you imagine his shoe blowing out again in his sophomore year?
Exactly. You play one more year in college and you're injured and you're out.
And you don't make it.
You don't make it. So I completely get it. And like I said, he's phenomenal. And I wish him all the best. But boy, would I have loved to have seen him at least one more year.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. I think, and maybe he'll be different, but I feel like a lot of times they come out and they're not ready. And and there's so much put on look at Lorenzo Ball.
Yeah.
There's so much put on him. We did a whole, I wrote a blog about that one. I was like, look, the poor kid's a rookie. My God, you're expecting him to be a 10-year veteran who's shooting amazing every day. And that's the same thing that's going to, I hope doesn't happen to
Right.
To
There's going to be a lot of pressure.
There's going to be a lot of pressure. Yeah. And because he's going to get paid, everybody's going to want him. He's going to get paid a ton of money.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally. I don't know him well enough to know whether he can handle it. But I just feel like
If he can handle it, though, that's going to be something special.
Right.
Like if he can
Well,
pressure mix diamonds.
It depends on the team he gets on, too.
That's super true.
Yeah.
Very
you know
true.
what? Again, if it's not a system that he works well in and they can't adjust to him,
Yep,
that's
true.
the thing about the transition. You know, that's one thing that that's a show we got to do.
Yeah.
Like and Mike's saying go Spurs, so I'm going to say go Spurs. How about Houston, Mike? How about Houston? Had a great game last night. No, but I mean, it's a really interesting transition. We talked a long time ago. We talked to Terrell about it.
Right.
You know how he, got drafted to the San Francisco 49ers and got there and watched every player on the team kick his butt in terms of time, in terms of his speed,
agility,
everything.
Yeah.
And he was so blown away. And it's like when you are coming out of college early and
As the star,
that's just even twice the pressure or 10 times the pressure. And,
and you're so unaware. Really, you don't know what you don't know. So you're so unaware of what's, what's waiting for you.
Yeah, and there's some superstars that come out and they're okay. But
and they can do it just right.
But not all.
Not all of them.
So let's hope for
I'm wishing him the best. I mean, he's so talented.
Yeah.
So talented. I want to see him do really, really well. Absolutely.
Well, I think that just overall the NBA finals right now are exciting because they're kind of balanced. There's not been, with a couple of exceptions, it's not been like huge blowouts. The fun, the Celtics game last night was good. I feel bad for the Pacers because we actually know the owner of the Pacers, so it was
Kyrie Irving.
I was like, I was kind of watching it, going, they were ahead for the whole game, and one of the comments was, that's the beauty of basketball. Actually, the reality of it is that it really is a game that could be played in 5 minutes.
Right.
It's seriously, because that's what ends up happening. Like,
sure.
What happens for 45, or 55 minutes of the game.
Sure. Yep.
Most, if you're at this level, with these type of professionals, it really comes down to the last 5 minutes.
Exactly.
It's like
exactly. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Yep.
So we will be watching because it's fun.
Happily. Yep.
Is there anything else before we shoot off?
It was kind of fun to watch the Golden State game. Did you see that?
Yeah.
This picture.
Yeah,
awesome.
The guy. I love it. I love Kevin Durant was so pissed off. Did you see this?
I think he was into it. He was having fun. It looked like he was having fun.
But the guy was really getting into him. He was.
That is some just old school street basketball. I love it. I love it.
Loved
so
it.
Love it.
And also
is that going to be you tonight?
Probably. Yeah. Probably. Or the guy in the background like screaming when it's happening.
Listen, but he kept taking the ball away from him. He was really kind of getting under his skin.
Yeah.
He fouled out, didn't he?
Yeah, but who cares?
Well, Kevin Durant fouling out's kind of a big deal.
Obviously, he thought it was worth it.
Well, I thought I heard something from him saying that the referees were enjoying it so much, that's why they kept calling the fouls. Like they were really.
Yeah, it was a little one-sided on Patrick Beverley's side. The little guy just getting shoved the big, huge dude.
It was hysterical.
Huge dude can't shove
Just
back.
like a little gnat. He kept coming around
Right,
and it was hysterical.
And again, though, such a metaphor for life, because don't we all have those gnats in life?
We do.
Don't we all have a gnat like that? At least one.
At least.
At least one gnat. And you've got to learn how to deal with them, right? They get under your skin, push or not push.
Right.
You got to figure out how you're going to deal with it.
Don't foul out.
Yeah.
Don't foul out.
Yeah.
On that note,
we are back in 2 weeks.
We are back in 2 weeks. We are very excited to be there, to come back. We appreciate everybody who watched today. Thank you so much. In case you don't know, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, CastBox, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and all of your favorite podcast platforms. Yeah. And we encourage you to visit us on the Distillery Inc. on our Facebook page. Like and share and tell your friends about our unique perspective on sports. We will be having some fun guests coming up in the next few weeks and over the summer. Oh, and we are actually thinking going on a little remote.
We are.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah,
a special Distillate show sometime in the next few weeks. Yeah. So we look forward to seeing you soon and have a fantastic day wherever you are.
Thank you, everyone.